America in Bible prophecy. Is America mentioned in Bible prophecy?
Yes.
Many people speculate as to whether the president is the Antichrist. And as we learn from the little horn study, the main Antichrist system is none other than the Papal Church of Rome, otherwise known as the papacy. But this doesn't mean that America therefore has no role in Bible prophecy. On the contrary, in the book of Revelation, in chapter 13, we see two beasts, the sea beast and the earth beast. So there isn't just one player in the end time, but two, the sea beast and the earth beast. Revelation 13 is known, the beast of Revelation 13 is known as the Antichrist, which is a papal church of Rome, and the earth beast is known as the false prophet. It is false, it's this false prophet the earth beast will be focusing on today. Many people are waiting for one person to fulfill the role of Antichrist. They believe that the Antichrist is yet to appear, but this teaching came from the false teachers as a counter to the Great Reformation, which point to the Papal Church as the Antichrist. This teaching of a future Antichrist by the false teachers was proclaimed and spread around the world to take the focus of the Papal Church of Rome as being the true Antichrist system. And it unfortunately worked, because countless Christians around the world are now waiting for this single charismatic leader to appear as Antichrist. Fortunately, you can find the truth here, as we use the Bible as the only source of authority, together with actual historical fact. Let's take a brief look at the sea beast of Revelation 13 first, and look at the identifying characteristic of it. This will then lead us on to finding America in Bible prophecy. Okay, Revelation 13 verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. A beast in prophecy represents kings or kingdom, power. See Daniel 7:17. This sea water in Bible prophecy represents nations, peoples, and tongues. So this kingdom rise to power against many people, nations, and tongues, which can only be the nation of Europe. This little horn power also arose to power among the other 10 horns, which represent the 10 kingdoms of Europe after the fall of Rome. So we have a definite match with the Roman Catholic Church, as she rose to power in among the kingdoms of Europe after the fall of Rome. Revelation 13 verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. So this kingdom power would receive a deadly wound, which would then later be healed. In 1798, French marched into Rome and captured the Pope. He then died in captivity, and the power of the papal church was gone. Some people thought that the papal church was dead and had gone to an end. But in 1929, Mussolini signed a treaty with the Roman Catholic Church, giving them political power once again. So the beast that was and not is and yet is come back to life. Let's look at Revelation 13, verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months. 40 and 2 months. Speaking great things and blasphemy is the same as what the little horn did. This beast continued for 42 months, which is 1,260 days. This is prophetic time. See, day for a year principle, which is 1,260 years. This is the actual same time period that the little horn power continued. The papal church of Rome came to power in 538 AD and continued for 1,260 years until 1798. Revelation 13:7 tell us, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindred and tongues and nations. So this beast is a persecuting power, just like the little horn of Daniel 7. The papal church of Rome persecute and kill millions upon millions of Christians during its reign of power between 538 to 1798. Revelation 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience of the saints. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So the last description of the sea beast confirms that it will go into captivity and be killed. Well, we know that the papal church of Rome went into captivity and received its mortal wound in 1798. The next verse in Revelation 13 describes John seeing this second beast rising out of the earth. So this second beast comes to power around about the time that the papal church go into captivity in 1798. Is there a nation that rises to power around this time? Yes. That nation is the United States of America. In 1776, the United States declared its independence and became a recognized world power by the time of 1798. So the timing fit America, as no other new nation came to power on earth during that time the way America did. America, the earth beast. What about the fact that this second beast came out of the earth? What does that have any significance? Let's look at verse 11 of Revelation 13. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Well, if you notice, the first beast rise out of the sea. Water, which represents people, nations, and tongues. A very populated area, which was Europe. So logic would tell you that the earth which the second beast rises out of is the opposite. A very populated area. This matches the nation of America as it rose to power out of a largely uninhabited land. The land of America wasn't populated until the 1700s. Many of the first people who populated the new land of America were the Christians who were fleeing the persecution of the papal church of Rome. Now this earth beast also has horn like a lamb and speak like a dragon. What could this mean? Well, we know from Daniel 7 that horn in Bible prophecy is a symbol of kings or kingdoms. Here there were kingdom or government power that America was based on. Yes, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, which stand for civic liberty and religious liberty. So we have 2 kingdoms, the civic kingdom and the religious kingdom. The nation of America was based upon republicanism, a government without a king, and Protestantism, a church without a pope. The lamb represents Jesus in the Bible, and this nation was lamb-like as in its principle, in that it established religious freedom, freedom to choose, just as God has given us freedom to choose to follow him or not. But it would be unwise not to follow Jesus, don't it? The people who flee to America were escaping the opposition of the papal Rome, who were forcing people to follow their doctrines. Unfortunately, as verse 11 confirmed, this nation of America will speak as a dragon. Now, by the prophecy in Revelation 12 revealed that the dragon is Satan. So this nation will start speaking like a dragon. It has already been Satan aimed to crush God's people. And as he tried it with the Roman church, and now he's going to use the state of America, also the United States of America, also to persecute God's true remnant church. Quote, in 1754, John Wesley, in his note on Revelation 13:11, said, of this beast he is not yet come, though he cannot be far off, for he is to appear at the end of the 42 months of the first beast. Explanatory note upon the New Testament, 1991 ED, volume 3, page